All right, so we got to do some editing in regards to our essays. So in order to edit an entire document, you want to do Control A. So do these steps with me so you can kind of follow along and edit this the way it needs to be. And some of you just have some funky font because of, like, you copied and pasted things in, you brought things over from your annotated bibliography. So our first step is going to be to make sure we have Times New Roman, and that we also need to do then 12-point font. So that's the first step. And then we need to make sure that we have the right spacing. So you're going to go to this little icon up here, line spacing, and it's going to have an arrow up and down, and you guys need to click double. Now, this is something I always do because sometimes, for whatever reason, when you copy and paste things in, it gets kind of messed up. If you are seeing extra spaces between your paragraphs, now, and you can see that this exists right here, either you have to backspace it to bring them together, which was what Will's problem it was there, but for some of you, your settings are just wrong. So a way to double check that is to highlight the whole thing, Control A, and then I always just do this. You click on add space before paragraph, add space before paragraph, and then remove space before paragraph. And what that does is just get rid of any kind of funky spacing you may have acquired when you were copying and pasting things into your essay. Double check to make sure your name is good to go. If you just typed in a 1, it's not going to be correct. Remember, you have to go to insert, page number, because if you're seeing 1s on all of your pages, then that means you have an issue. Double check between your paragraphs. If you've got that extra space there, you need to get rid of that so that that's not existing there. All right, so then the next thing too, make sure your name is correct in there. You want it to say Advanced American Literature. You can put today's date and just change it for the heck of it. And make sure at some point you give your essay a title, whatever you want that to be. Remember, you're not underlining it, you're not putting it in quotation marks, you're just putting a title in it. One thing that I want to also point out is try to pay attention to any kind of funky paragraphing you might have. So if you did not backspace and get rid of all your numbers and letters the right way, that just means you didn't backspace the whole way. So if you're starting to see this weird element, make sure you take care of that by backspacing. Notice here, there is a gap between where this is aligned and this is aligned. So what you guys need to do is just make sure you've gone all the way over and indented that first line with your tab. So backspace so that it's all the way over. And then just for paper's sake, if you guys, actually, I'm probably not going to print these out. Go ahead and put these on its own separate page, and you should have that right now that the spacing's there. Get rid of any space that exists between the title and here. It should say works cited. Some of you have been putting like references and annotated bibliography. This is what your works cited should look like. One thing is that he has in here the hanging indent. So how you do that is if you go, and I'm not sure if it's going to let me do this. Line spacing. Let's see here. I might be because I'm in the different element, it might not let me do it. Anyway, you're going to go, and I'll do a little video on how to do this hanging indent and the other element of it. But it should look like this when it's all said and done, in paragraph format, no funky spacing, aligned margins, and your works cited should look like this. Some of you just copied and pasted the web address, but you need to make sure the whole works cited element is here and that it's in alphabetical order.